My name is Cole Mercer, expedition leader out of Boise, Idaho, and the first thing the river took from me was the assumption that I'd seen everything worth fearing. The brief was simple on paper. Water quality transects along a drowned forest channel, catalog the plastic load, camera trap any large fauna, keep a low profile, pull out in 12 days if the rains opened the sky. The reality began as a pattern. 3 neat strings of bubbles rising in the same shoal, each bead spaced like it had been laid by a careful hand. I chalked it to marsh gas, then noticed the silence around it. Frogs cutting out mid-chorus, the understory holding its breath like an audience waiting for the curtain. Our team was tight and American pragmatic. Erica Shaw, paramedic from Houston, who could turn panic into checklists. Dunn, field tech and born skeptic. And me, a career adventure guy who knows the difference between a spooky story and a situational report. We staged on a low platform stilted above a tea-brown side channel, where wind died early and shadows kept their shape. The first time the water bulged without breaking, Dunn muttered log. Second time, nobody said a thing. A low swell ran under the planks with the soft thud of a cough suppressed in a theater. At dusk, the skiff's bowline tapped the mooring stake like a polite knock. When I looked over, I saw geometry, not fantasy, a flattened triangle sitting just under the membrane of river, 2 coin-small eyes and a pair of nostrils set arrogantly high. Architecture meant to see and breathe without surrendering the body. The surface smoothed, the shape dissolved, and the only proof left was the smell. Wet leather and iron so faint I doubted myself. Erica covered her flashlight lens with cloth to cut the glare. If it's here, it's choosing the raso, she said, meaning the shallows where the river pretends to be floor. I have spent years telling people that myths are just mnemonics for rules we forget when bored. So I wrote down what I trusted. Slow water, aligned bubbles, a bulge that refused spectacle, a line of reed tops bending the wrong way against a current that wasn't moving. When the planks sighed under our feet, it wasn't rot, it was breath answered, the river inflating and deflating under us as if to check our weight. We stayed anyway. We raised the hammocks higher and rigged a redundancy line between 2 trees because plans feel like power when you're outnumbered. I told myself weight and length were almost always exaggerated, that even giants stay shy, that patience beats panic 9 nights out of 10. Then the bowline tapped the stake again, softer than before, and I understood what it feels like to be invited by something that has never once needed to ask. The line returned at first light, and there's no neat science word for that. It slid back to the stake against the sleepy current and nudged the wood like it had memorized the knot's exact bite. Erica's fingers stopped an inch from the rope. "Don't," she said. Not to me, not to anyone, but to the urge in humans to complete a pattern handed to them. We moved like people on a boat that has already taken on water. Quiet, quick, careful. Dunn laid out the evacuation kit. Headlamps hooded, spare line chest high between trunks. Smallest possible load to walk the shallows without climbing into the river's mouth. Under the platform, a curve the size of a telephone pole uncoiled without breaking the skin of the water. It was the quiet that undid me. Not the mass, not the speed, but the refusal to waste gesture. A soft, damp exhalation rose up through the gaps in the planks, and for a second all our lungs synced with it, like we'd been drafted into someone else's breathing. Erica prepped a polite fire. Fuel in a bottle, a strip of cloth, a match. When the flames raced thinly across the river's skin, heat slapped our chins and the swell withdrew, not in fright, in arithmetic. 3 body lengths back, a recalculation, the bubbles resurfacing in a new line as if chalk had been moved on a hidden slate. We tested the exit in daylight. The mud took our boots with the lip smack of something learning our tread. 3 bubbles rose in a row, paused, then 3 more, exactly spaced, always from the same mouth in the river. "Clock," Dunn whispered, and we all understood. Something under us was running time on our lungs. We backed up. The platform complained. The bowline lifted, brushed the stake, and sank. I have never in my life wanted to apologize to water before. I nearly did then. That night, I learned the sound of a floor that has begun to fail. It's the brittle bite of a tooth on ice, followed by weight shifting left when you're still. Erica said, "West side now," and we moved in the choreography people fall into when fear and rehearsal share muscle memory. Below, the swell set itself under our heaviest corner and held. Method. That was the word my head kept serving me. It didn't hate us. It measured. And it didn't need to hurry. We left the platform in a file no taller than our ribs, water at shin, then knee, then an admission that our plan could fail. The hooded beam made slices of world, a white leaf like a handkerchief, a spider parked on air, fungi like emergency exit lights on a dead log. 3 bubbles rose in a straight seam 5 steps ahead, then 3 again, and my heel found a hole, cold as a mouth. My calf brushed something that moved like a muscle, tired of pretending to be mud. People expect violence. What came was math. Pressure climbed my ankle, then my knee, then gripped at my hip like a measuring tape that had been used on this shape before. Erica didn't scream. She said, "Back," with the authority of someone who has watched breath leave bodies in rooms that smell like antiseptic. Dunn stabbed the water 3 times, and the 3rd time the blade hit something that hummed back through the hilt. A density wrapped in living rope. The pressure loosened the width of 2 fingers. That was the gap the world fit into. I reversed twice and found root with my heel like a pilgrim kissing a step. The river didn't chase. It inhaled and exhaled, and a circle of perfectly still surface appeared, then vanished. The coin of a head taking a quiet share, eyes and nostrils exactly where evolution would have put them if its goal had been arrogance. We backed into trees that needed nothing from us. I watched a spray of pondweed settle and realized my pulse had kept time with a stranger's lungs. We did not sleep so much as wait for light to put new rules on the ground. Hunters say, after the kill, rest, and prey species live because that's sometimes true. At dawn, 3 capybaras surfaced and crossed the shoal. The smallest was there, and then unwas subtracted without splash. It felt obscene, the efficiency. Erica made it into math, because that is what she knows how to do. Fed, window, meaning a chance to move. I added my own quiet clause, memory, because I could feel the path that thing had worn under the water. A patrol line like a groove in a carpenter's bench. We took only what we could carry without leaning. We left behind equipment that cost more than my truck, and a pride I was tired of hauling. On the bank, a bright bag we'd never owned bobbed between roots, a stranger's gear. When Erica lifted the zipper with a blade, a single large bubble rose and cracked with the sound of a sigh where it shouldn't be. The head surfaced at the edge of vision, flat and patient. It did not lunge. It shifted, moved the bag toward us with the smallest push of displaced water and went away. We carried the weight of that choice all the way to the ridge. Distance is an anesthetic. On the ridge, the river was a steel ribbon that could be dismissed by people who had never stood over its heartbeat. The radio caught a voice that belonged to a world of forms and signatures, and we fed it coordinates, schedule, and threat in a grammar that keeps ribs from breaking. Extraction in 48 hours. Stay high. Do not return to the margin. Copy. Night without the river is another animal. The silence has small teeth, but it does not try to learn your breathing. I slept the survival nap, light, unconvincing, full of starts. Whenever my eyes closed, the image came back as a diagram. A head designed to win without performance, nostrils and eyes set to take without offering, a body built to make time unnecessary. I grew up in a country that teaches you to solve fear with facts and movement. Up there, neither helped. Respect did. Morning smoke for signal felt primitive and perfect. We broke down what we could not afford to lose and stacked what we could no longer justify carrying. The page I kept was torn from the stranger's notebook and showed 6 crescents in a line. Someone else had drawn the bubbles I had seen. An old lesson passed forward in pencil. On the trail out, a sliver of the same shoal came back into view far below. Their coin of stillness appeared, then the river forgot it had made it. That was all. No chase, no vengeance, just a reminder. The water holds the contract. 2 days later, a small engine sounded like an orchestra. No one asked what we had seen. People who live with the river don't give names to the things that allow them to keep living. Back in the United States, someone always asks for length. I tell them the truth and they hate it. I don't know. I know cadence. I know method. I know that the most frightening thing in that channel was not bulk, but calm. A calm so complete it made my body breathe on command. If the world needs a headline, give it this. I saw the largest anaconda I will ever see, And what saved me was not strength, not speed, not courage. It was the decision to treat the water like a mind and a memory. If a line comes home to the stake, I won't tie it. If the floor breathes twice under my feet, I'll step back. If the bubbles make a row and hold it, I'll let the river keep its secret. That's not fear, that's etiquette.